We are at the Tour de France and we've been hunting out the newest, the hottest, the most custom and generally coolest bike tech that we can find. There is plenty of it, and we're going to start with something that ticks all 4 of those boxes. Behind me you can see possibly the blingiest TT bike of all time. It's the new Pinarello Bolide F, okay? So this is replacing the venerable Bolide. And it's interesting when you hear about Pinarello's approach. So they said that this bike they felt had to have disc brakes because they wanted to improve the speed in other areas apart from just aerodynamics. So their first thing was to try and offset the slight penalty you get from using disc brakes aerodynamically. And so all of that new design effectively means that this bike is as aerodynamic as its predecessor, but then they've improved the stiffness of the bike, they've dropped the weight of the frame as well. And apparently, so with those new disc brakes and the different handling, this bike is therefore faster. So it's going to be super interesting to see how the guys get on at the Tour. In fact, by the time you watch this, you'll already know. But don't tell me, don't spoil it. Whilst we're at Ineos Grenadiers, a couple of other points that I've noticed. Firstly, the team is no longer using tubular tyres, so they're using tubeless tyres for everything, TTs and road stages as well. In fact, there isn't a single tub to be seen anywhere in the mechanic's truck. So the tyres of choice are Continental GP 5000 STRs, and they've also got some pretty wide ones as well. So quite a step into the future for Ineos Grenadiers. And then likewise, they also don't have a rim brake bike for any rider at this year's Tour de France. Again, that's pretty new for them at the Tour. Team UAE Emirates have got themselves some prototype wheels from Campagnolo. Now, these were seen at the Giro. I don't know anything about them, including their name, but I can tell you that they are insanely light, absolutely bonkers. These are the tubular versions. There's also a clincher version in the truck. Now, they don't have Campagnolo's kind of traditional 3-spoke setup, but they are conventional metal spokes, I think. There's basically nothing to them. That hub is so slimline. You'd imagine when Pogacar's got these fitted to his race bike, he's going to be pushing 6.8 kilos. Pretty hard. You can probably guess where I am, and whilst we are observing the riders heading out on their training ride, actually, I want to show you this, which is a new cube. Now, I say new, the team have been using it all season, but it's unreleased, so there's still that prototype sticker on the seat tube there. And this is a bike of Louis Meinke's, so the team's climber, and it is their new lightweight bike, but it's also got aerodynamic touches. So Cube is saying that it weighs about 7.1 kilos as it is. And interestingly, Meinke's is using 28mm wide tyres, which does seem really broad, particularly for a lightweight rider, but still, the team says it's faster, and I'm inclined to believe them. But so here you go, the new Cube, going to be coming out soon, lightweight and aero. Bit of red hot time trial tech for you now. This is the rear wheel of EF Education Easy Post Stefan Bissiger. He has got exclusive limited edition tyres that you can't buy in the shops yet. This is a 28mm wide Corsa Speed, which is unusual, you'd think, for a time trial, running something as wide as a 28, particularly as he's also using a 28 up front as well. But the cobbled sector in this year's opening TT means that they're going to go for slightly lower pressure, 7 bar, in the hope that rolling resistance trumps aero. We'll find out. Very cool bit of custom tech for you now. So SRAM have been machining bespoke chainring sizes for their pro athletes pretty much since their new red group set was launched. But never have I ever seen chainrings of this magnitude on a road bike before. We've got 5643 teeth chainring, which is frankly enormous. So bear in mind this is Mads Pedersen's bike. Keep an eye out for him going several kilometers per hour faster than anyone else in the race. Either that or enjoying the improved mechanical efficiency of using larger chainrings and correspondingly larger sprockets on the cassette. I found a bigger one. Pedersen's TT bike is fitted with a 60-tooth chainring, or so I'm told. It's not actually written on here, and it would take me all day to count, but that is massive. You know you're on something good when you get shown it in the boot of a car. Fortunately, this isn't stolen goods, not yet anyway. This is SRAM's limited edition gold chain and cassette that are being produced for their current and former world champions. So this one is going to be destined for Mads Pedersen here at the Tour de France. There will be a heck of a lot more on show at the Tour de France FAM as well. And then another one will be heading to Valverde when he next races Classica San Sebastian, I guess. But there you go, look at that. They had rainbow ones a couple of years ago, if you remember, but now they've gone gold. I love this, very patriotic and very cool and new bit of tech from Ceramic Speed, who are, of course, a Danish company, as you can probably tell from the giant flag. So this was released just prior to the Tour de France, and inside is an oversized jockey wheel that you'll probably be familiar with from Ceramic Speed's previous work, pursuing mechanical efficiency savings. But this new derailleur cage is following a collaboration with aerodynamics guru Simon Smart. And when I first heard about it, I was a bit skeptical in that what little I know about aerodynamics, I understood that by the time the airflow gets to this part of the bike, it's so turbulent that it kind of doesn't really matter. But apparently, this new cage is all about taking that turbulent air and trying to get it to reattach. So they were describing it a little bit like a following car on a time trial, driving really close to a rider. It actually makes the rider faster. And so this is kind of a similar type of thing. So they're saying that overall, in a 25-kilometre long time trial at Tour de France speeds, this new derailleur system can save a rider 2 seconds, which, given we're talking Tour de France here, could very well be significant. And then the reason it's, of course, got the Danish flag on there, firstly, because you might as well make the most of this new giant piece of real estate, but also because they are a very proud Danish company. Everything still made in Denmark. Kind of cool. Whilst we're at Israel Premier Tech looking at rear derailleur cages, we've also got to do a big shout out to the new look of the team, including their Factor Ostro race bikes that I'm stood next to now, about to depart on a training ride. So the new look is all about raising awareness of the Israel Premier Tech team's initiative, Racing for Change. It's an established partnership that they've had with Rwanda for a while, but now they're trying to raise money to be able to create a new cycling centre there. And so that's the kind of underpins the whole look of it. But it's really cool. I've got to say, I love the paint job on the bikes. This is Jakob Fuglsang's, so expect this to be going pretty fast this year. And that's Mike Woods'. Likewise, that's a bike to keep an eye on at the sharp end of proceedings. Right then, that pretty much draws our whistle-stop tour of some of the hottest, coolest and most custom tech at the Tour de France for this year. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to GCNTech for more of this kind of video.